Hymer again. Today I'm with James Bacon, otherwise known as
the Body Fix Coach.
Last time I said this, he said Jim Jesus.
That's my nickname.
That's it. He thinks that's his nickname. Anyway, I'm here with James because James made a massive difference to me in terms of my back and my knees, and he's actually started getting me exercising again, which is a weird thing for me after so long. Long time ago, used to be fit and have stamina. These days, a little bit porky and desperate need of his help. So, why, for farmers, am I standing in a converted cowshed that's now a gym with James Bacon, the fixed person? Why would I do that? James, just tell people a little bit about what it is you can do to help farmers.
Yeah, so I've been in the fitness industry for about 15 years now with my own business. Just recently rebranded to the Body Fix Coach after deciding to help people fix their bodies. So got a good knowledge of the human anatomy and can find out what's going on with people's bodies quite quickly, where root causes of pain are coming from, and we'll give them the correct interventions to help them to fix their bodies and have a strong, healthy, and fitter life.
Now, James is based near Burton-on-Trent in the West Midlands, Staffordshire, but he does stuff online, he'll do stuff here, he'll come to you. This isn't a pitch, this is just to say, let me give you an example of something he did for me. For the last 4 or 5 years, walking upstairs was agony for my knees. James, after twice just walking up and downstairs how he showed me, I could walk up straight, free of pain, totally different. So, when I was speaking to farmers, they were saying, Dave, you don't understand, we're on our feet or sitting down all day, we've got bad backs, bad knees. So we're going to try, this is difficult, we're going to try to visually and audibly do some stuff, and he's going to do it on me, so yes, you can laugh at me doing exercises, that you can do either in the farmhouse, in the cowshed, out in the fields, sat in your tractor. Some things that you can do very, very cheaply, or even at zero cost to yourself, that could transform your well-being. Would that be right, James?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll give it a go.
Okay, so what we're going to try and do is do videos, but do it. We're going to speak in a way that hopefully, if you're listening to it on audio, will still make sense. So, see you at the first exercise.
Right, so as farmers, you're probably sitting down a lot during the day. So what we tend to find with the body is that all these muscles here become short and we start getting rounded shoulders. So exercise I'm going to get David to do first is just a little ball. Now if you haven't, you can get these off Amazon for a couple of quid. They're just called release balls, or if not you can just use something similar like a tennis ball, cricket ball, etc.
If you haven't got a tennis ball, just go to Asda, get a tennis ball.
Nice and simple. So what I'm going to get David to do, so you're going to need like a wall or a post like this, and we're going to get this ball and we're going to pull it into the top of the pecs here, just inside of the shoulder. So you'd lean into it here, find your most tender point, you can put your arm behind your back. I'm just going to find that most tender point and then just hold it in there for a good minute. So if you want to do that one for me, David.
So whilst I'm inflicting pain on myself at your great humour, for those listening, where are these pecs?
So the pecs are the chest muscles. There we go, we found the spot already, right? So the pecs are the chest muscles. So anything from just inside the front of the shoulder, going across the collarbone, down and around. So they're your pec muscles. So we're just trying to find those most tender spots.
Yeah, there it is.
We're just putting enough pressure in that it's just going to release that tender spot off, okay? So you might find different, they're called trigger points, knots, so you're going to find different ones all across the chest. So you can just find your most tender one to start with.
And I'm leaning into this.
You're leaning into it, just enough pressure. If it feels like it's too stabby, we're just going to take a bit of pressure out. Again, we're just going to find that spot that feels the most tender, right?
These noises are not for effect, by the way. It's just genuinely quite sore. So if it is really sore like this, what's it telling us?
You've got a bit of a problem in the tissue, so it's called tissue dysfunction. Trigger points, at some point that muscle is ripped, and it's just pulled with blood, so that's a trigger point. So we want to try and get these out as often as we can. They take about 10 to 14 days to get rid of completely.
Do the other side as well?
Do the other side, because after this we're going to do a bit of a stretch as well.
Okay, so for people listening to this, the pecs are just below the shoulder.
Absolutely.
Sort of top of the chest, right in the corner there.
That's it.
And this really hurts.
It does.
Ow.
It does. So David's not been doing his work, so... So just enough pressure, because we want to tell that muscle to relax. Yeah, and if we're putting too much pressure in, it'll just start kicking back. Right? So we're going to hold these for a good minute, yeah.
And that's the interesting thing, because you say relax, and even though it's counterintuitive, because sorry, I'm looking around the post at you guys, but it's counterintuitive because when you're in pain, you tend to tense up.
Absolutely.
But when you relax, actually the pain dissipates a lot quicker. Absolutely. Why is that?
It's just because the muscles are starting to relax, right? And they've been so tense for a long time. We'll just put that little bit of pressure in. It tells the muscles to relax. So we can also put the arm behind the back as well. And we'll just pull the shoulder. Ow. If we pull the shoulder back slightly, it just opens up that chest. Okay. So again, we're just going to hold him until we feel a bit of change in the tissue.
Cool, blimey.
Nice. Awesome. So once we've released that muscle off, we're going to stretch him a little bit, because what we tend to find happen is that the muscles get short, they pull the shoulders forward, the pecs and the chest muscles start to shorten. So we want to get some length back in that chest. Okay. So what we're going to do is a bit of a chest stretch. Now with this one, again, David, what I'm going to get him to do is put his elbow behind the post, so his elbow is in line with his shoulder and his wrist is in line with his elbow. And we're going to stand next to the post, and what we want to do is step through with the same side leg. Now we're not jamming the shoulder through the pole, we're just leaning our chest in and we're turning away a little bit. So we're going to start to feel that stretch come through the chest muscles. Alright, so let's give that one a go, David.
Okay, so it's as if I'm doing a native Indian sign, okay? Yep. Or stop sign. I'm putting it against the pole, I'm standing sideways to the pole, and if I've got my right arm flat against the pole, I'm now is that right? My right foot forward,
right, perfect.
And sort of.
We're going to lean the chest in, and then we're going to slightly turn the body away from the pole, so start to feel that stretch.
Yeah.
Okay.
How?
Now, because we're doing developmental stretching, we want to get some length back in the chest. Cool. Again, we want to hold this for at least a minute, and we want to work on our breathing as well. So nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So we're going to start. After a minute, the muscle will start to relax and start to lengthen. Okay.
So, and they could. I mean, I'm making an assumption here, but farmers could do this quite literally anywhere. They could do it in the house, they can do it in the shed, they could even get out the cab of the tractor and lean against the tractor.
That's it. Anywhere that you can find something to lean against with your arm.
Fence post.
Fence post, okay. Absolutely.
Oh.
And the more you do this over time, the better you're going to feel in the whole shoulder girdle, right? And it's going to feel a lot looser.
I'll believe you.
So at least a minute on each side. We can go a little bit long. You can always come out of the stretch. Go back into it, no problem. So we're going to try the other side.
Okay, so for people watching this, you can see what I'm doing there. There we go.
That's it, we're going to lean in. And just have a feel for what each side feels like compared to the other. You might find that one side's a little bit tighter, a little bit shorter. So we can always focus a bit more. Depending on what arm you use for your job, mainly, you're going to find different discrepancies on each arm. How's that feeling, David? Remember to breathe.
Sore.
Breathing is vital.
Yeah, okay.
And it'll just help that muscle to relax a lot quicker.
Oh.
Is that feeling a bit different?
It feels a bit different.
Now,
if you're just listening to this, I'm sure you don't want to hear a brummy grunting and moaning in discomfort. Okay. Oh. Okay.
Awesome.
Ow.
So that's the first set of exercises you can work on throughout your day. Again, sitting down a lot during the day will just cause a lot of shortness on the front of the body, so we want to get some length back. Okay?
Wonderful. Awesome. I'm tempted to say see you on the next exercise, but he's killing me already. See you on the next exercise. Okay, back again with some more exercises for you to do on the farm to release the tension, release the stress, hopefully help your knees, back and rest of the body. What are we doing now, James?
Alright, so we've already had a look at the front of the body with the chest, the pec muscles. So what we tend to find if that people have become really short in front of the bodies, that all the muscles on the back of the body start to stretch out beyond the normal range of motion, right? So we need to get a bit of relaxation there just to let them relax a bit, and we can get some banded exercises in as well just to start strengthening those muscles up. So we're going to be running through a few different exercises. So the first one I'm going to get David to do is a bit of a lat stretch.
Just before you tell us how you're going to hurt me next, what are the consequences to farmers of not dealing with that tension and knotted feeling?
The problem is all different people walk around all day with different problems in the body dysfunctions, and it's only when they start to become problems, they'll start to get aches and pains, then we're going to potentially lose days off work, not be able to go to work and do our jobs in the long run. So it's always important that we address those issues before they get too serious.
So what we're saying here in a business context for you on the farm is if you count up how many days either you, one of your family or one of your workers have had to take off due to back, knee, joint, muscular challenges, you add up the cost of that and counter that against what might it cost for you to go and buy a tennis ball or a lease ball or a rubber band or a whatever and start doing this every single day.
Prevention is better than cure, right, David?
Prevention is better than cure.
Absolutely.
Go on then, James, show me what we've got to do.
Right, so again, if you can find yourself something that you can pull on, so again, we're using a squat rack here, but you can use a door frame or a wall or something similar, or even the edge of your tractors, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take one arm, pull him out straight, and I'm going to rotate my thumb so it's facing down so I can grab onto the back of the rail or whatever you're using. Okay, so my thumb's pointing down and my arm's on the inside of the rail. So with this one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk myself back a little bit, and what I want to try and do is start pulling on this rail, and I'm going to take my chest down through my shoulder girdle and send my hips backwards, and you should start feeling the stretch behind the shoulder and going down the back, and we're just going to start working on that a little bit. So we're going to try and find those points of tension, going to get a good stretch on those lats, and then we can almost just start lifting our elbow up and going underneath a little bit as well. So I'm going to get David to demonstrate as well. So being a good sport today.
So hand like that or like?
That's it. So I'm going to put my thumb facing down. So
thumb facing down.
It. So I'm going to get you to grab the back of this rail.
Yeah.
And I want you to be nice and square to it as well. So all you're going to do is make your knees nice and soft, David. And I'm going to start sending my bum backwards. So I'm hinging at my hips. Ooh. And I'm going to start taking my chest down through the body. Yeah. There we go. Ooh. And you should start to feel a nice stretch on the back of this muscle here. So these are the lats, okay? So big, powerful muscles in the body.
Okay.
And again, they get very tense and very aggravated at times. So even if you're not presenting any pain in the front of the body, always check the back as well. So again, we can hold these for a good minute each side. Again, if you're just starting your day, you maybe want to do your stretches for 10, 20 seconds just before you get into work, all right?
Ow!
Again, yeah, so we found some pain points in David straight away. So yeah, let's see how we go with this one. Once we've had a good minute and we start to feel those muscles relax and lengthen, we'll switch sides.
Oh.
How's that feeling?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Amazing.
Oh. Cool. Now you can get yourself up and we'll switch to the other side.
Okay, so right arm, thumb down, grab the pole.
That's it.
Face on.
That's it. We're nice and square, soft knees.
Squat, soft knees.
So we're going to send that bum back as we always want to try and get some nice hinge through the hips rather than rounding our backs. So we should feel this stretch going down the back. So these are the latissimus dorsi, it's called. So big, powerful muscles, very long muscles in the body. They can get very tense and yeah.
So whilst I'm here wincing in discomfort, what are some of the biggest challenges that people come to you for help with?
It varies. I'd say a lot of people, especially since the COVID sort of periods, the way people are working now, working from home, they're not moving as much. So we do get a lot of lower back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain. So yeah, all the joints particularly aching. So get a nice variation really. So
excellent. I say excellent.
Yeah.
He's a sadist.
I am a sadist.
Okay.
How's that one feel?
That hurt nearly as much as the ball in the...
Awesome. So let's see if we can cause a bit more.
Right.
So, resistance bands, right? So if you're not like a member of a gym and you don't really particularly like going to a gym, you can pick up resistance bands, again from Amazon, eBay, etc. Very inexpensive tool. A few pounds, yeah, but they will last you a long time and you can do various stretches, strength exercises, etc. So we've looked at a couple of stretches. So next what I'm going to get David to do is a little bit of mobility. So all mobility is the range of motion that you've got available for each joint, so elbows, shoulders, hips, etc. Right, so we're going to do a banded pass-through exercise.
A what?
A banded pass-through, it's called.
A banded pass-through.
Great exercise. I've got a lot of desk job workers who do this daily while we're working. And it's great for freeing up the shoulder tension, okay?
Because you know, as farmers, I mean, you're out in the fields all the time, you're out fencing and herding and growing and planting, but also some of you, especially if you're the owner of the farm, you might actually be sat at a desk for long periods, sat in a cab of a tractor or a truck for long periods or a combine. So this stuff can really, really help.
Absolutely.
Come on then, James.
So I'd suggest a really light band for this exercise. You can work up to a heavier band, but it can be quite tricky on the shoulders. So
And
this one,
and if you haven't got a band, have you got an old fan belt off a big vehicle?
Fan belt. Even people use broomsticks. Okay, that's another good tool as well. An old broomstick. It still works. So
if you know any witches, they can do it too.
Yeah. So for this one, I'm going to take a nice wide grip on my band. Okay, I'm going to keep it fairly loose. So what I want you to do is stand up nice and tall, chest up, and I just want you to pull your shoulders back a little bit as well. So what we're going to start doing is taking this band up over my head. So I'm working through my shoulders, okay? When I get to the top, I'm going to aim just to loosen off on the band, and I'm going to take it down as far as I can into my lower back. Does that make sense? So we'll go this way. I'm taking it up and over. So I'm just working through my shoulder mobility, up and over. Now if you can't get all the way over, we can just take it and leave it at the top, and you'll feel a nice stretch through those pecs again. So I'm going to get David to have a go at this one.
Okay, so I'm holding this, basically a large elastic band.
A large elastic band, resistance band. Yeah.
Out in front of me.
So if you hold it down to start with.
Hold it down by my waist.
Perfect. So all I want you to think about doing is taking this band up over your head, but I'm moving through my shoulders rather than anywhere else.
Okay, so I'm lifting my arms up.
That's it.
That is naturally stretching the band as I lift over.
That's it. So as you get to the top, just loosen off a little bit and just allow that band just to drop down your back if you can.
Cool, blimey, Chief.
and you'll feel all the different parts of your shoulders which are a little bit stiff and tired, yeah? So I'd recommend doing this every day, no problem.
What speed should you be doing it?
Again, you can just work it at how good your mobility is, right? So you can start off nice and slowly. As you get a little bit more progress, you can work it a little bit faster. But you should feel all these different muscles stretching out in your chest, okay?
Yeah.
So I'd recommend doing between 10 up to 20 repetitions.
20?
Yeah, just depending on how tired you get quickly, right in your shoulders, yeah, how quickly you get tired.
Okay, so
how's that feeling?
When I was a teenager and in my 20s, used to get out in the gym and watch the big guys lifting weights and all the machismo adrenaline and whatever used to run, and you wanted to lift the heaviest weights. And I noticed that a lot of what you do, you don't even use a lot of weights. It's mostly rubber bands, foam balls, and
foam rollers,
gym mats. So when did that all change? Ow.
I'll say I've been training a long time myself, and I still do a lot of strength training. I think it's important as you get older, right, just to maintain your body. But again, we need to work on different things. We've got mobility, stability, flexibility. All those different things are important to moving freely in the body, right? So all different tools we can use.
I hope you guys appreciate what I'm doing for the good of you right now. Ow!
It's done about 10 repetitions so far. We're only counting the good ones, right, David?
Oh, yeah.
Good thing as well, while you're standing up as well, always squeeze your glutes, your backside, yeah? Keep everything nice and strong around there. We have a lot of different issues with lower back pain, and 9 times out of 10 it's due to the glutes not being strong enough.
Wow.
How does that feel?
Sore.
Yeah.
Sore, but I actually do feel better.
A bit looser?
Yeah, I do feel a lot looser for
awesome.
it.
Awesome.
So I'm not just saying that, I genuinely do.
We're going to give you another one of my favourites. So this is called a band pull apart. Okay?
He has favourite pain.
I have
things.
a favourite.
Right.
So the band pull apart, so if I just get David just to turn around. So the other way. So what this exercise does is targets all of these muscles across the upper back. So we've got trapezius, rear delts, we've got a bit of rotator cuffs here as well. So what we're finding is, again, if we're starting to get that slump sort of Quasimodo effect, if you can see yourself slumping over like Quasi, right? This exercise will start to strengthen all of these muscles here and start to pull the shoulders back round. So this is going to be a really good exercise for David.
Now that's interesting, because I would have thought that would have been caused by lower back.
What, all this up here?
Over.
Again, so what you find is all these muscles here will get short.
Yeah.
This then pulls the spine forward. So it's called kyphosis.
Yeah.
And that's what we call Quasimodo syndrome.
Right. Okay.
So what I'm going to get David to do, so we will take the band, again, a nice thin band. You can always drop it down to half a band as well if it's too much.
Again, for those listening, half a band is just grabbing
half of the band, letting the other half go below you.
Okay, so you're not grabbing sort of
the full
length
band together.
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay.
So we're going to take the hands about shoulder width, or maybe just a little bit outside, dependent. So what I want you to think about doing once you've grabbed this band with the palms facing down, think about bending the band, okay, so that our elbows start to rotate down towards the floor. So we're just putting a bit of a stretch on it. We'll keep the chest nice and tall, and then what we're going to do, keep the elbows nice and soft. So the movement initiates from the back of the shoulders, the rear deltoids, okay? And we're going to take this band and we're going to start stretching it until that band comes to our upper chest. And then we have a good squeeze of all those muscles in the back, and then we come back round slowly. So we get again 10 plus reps, squeeze, bring it back round. Okay? So I'm going to get David to have a go at this one.
So instead of holding both legs, I'm just holding the one. Hands out in front.
That's it. So I want you to think nice soft elbows.
Soft elbows.
And I want you to think about pulling from here. To the back of the shoulder.
Wow, that's very different there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again,
so where would most people be tempted to pull from? Here?
A lot of people pull from the forearms.
Forearms.
Okay.
Right.
So we don't want that. So we're trying to take the forearms out of it. The hands are just nice and soft. We're trying to keep those arms as straight as possible. Just a slight bit of bend. So once you get around to that full extension, I want you to squeeze everything together here for a good second, and then bring it back round slowly.
Wow.
So again, upper back is a big weakness on a lot of people, but if we can get those muscles nice and strong, it will start to.
That's a good example of how we think that we're doing exercises properly, and then when you get someone who knows what they're on about, like James, tiny little tweak makes the world of difference to the impact of it.
How's that feeling on that upper back?
Yeah, I can feel it.
So you'll probably find that you'll get really tired quite quickly on these muscles. Again, very chain, very weak on a lot of people, so we need to get all that nice and strong.
Wonderful. Okay. So there's a couple of exercises straight out the back. What I suggest you do is either go and watch this, listen to it again, but have a go and then watch the next bit, see what happens.
Alright, so the next exercise we're going to look at, again, we talked about being sat down a lot during the day, so we've got these big set of muscles which start sort of here next to the belly button and they finish about mid-thigh. So that's your hip flexors, okay? So they've got a tendency to shorten down if we sat down all day, especially in a car or in the tractors, etc. So what you get to think about doing, again, these muscles will, if they get short, overactive, they will cause a lot of knee pain, a lot of back pain. With the back pain, they shorten down, they tip the pelvis forward, and then our lumbar spine starts to go in this curved shape, okay? So it's called hyperlordosis. So the longer we can keep these hip flexors, the less pain you're going to have. Again, you can start pulling on that knee joint as well, causing a lot of pain. So this is a kneeling hip flexor stretch. So again, if you've got bad knees, you might want to consider using a cushion, maybe get your coat or something, roll it up, just so you've got a bit of support there as well. So how I'm going to do this, it's a kneeling position, so imagine you propose it to somebody, okay, like your wife or okay, etc. So what I want to do is get my knee directly underneath my hip. The other leg I'm going to trail out in front at right angles, so my heel's in line with my knee. Okay, so what we want to do, this glute at the back, I want you to get into the habit of just tucking it under. Okay, so when I tuck that glute under and squeeze the butt cheek, you'll start to feel a stretch in this front leg, and that's the hip flexors, okay? With the back foot, you can either tuck your toes under at the back, or you can leave your foot trailing. Okay, so all we want to do is tuck the glute under, keep the chest nice and tall, and we'll start to feel the stretch here. And again, we want to hold these for a good minute to start to see the benefit of it. We can also modify it a little bit as well. We can take this arm up to lengthen the flexors out. Remember to finish up here. We can take this hand, we can reach across the knee, and we can twist into it a little bit to get a bit more rotational stretch. So we're just going to hold them for a minute, and then if you feel comfortable, we can take that into a hamstring stretch as well. So what we do on this one, we place this other leg out in front of us with the toe pointing up or pointing forward, and we're just going to sit down on our back heel, and what you're going to do is create some length in that hamstring, so that's the back of the thigh.
And if people are struggling with balance, are they able to hold on to
absolutely,
something?
Yeah, you can grab a broom pole or stand next to a wall or whatever it needs to be to grab onto, and we can just obviously get that stretch in there, and then you can work back into the hip flexor stretch a little bit more. You can just work between the two if you like, just to get some movement back into your hips. Okay? Okay, so next stretch, we're going to have a look at some calf stretches. So we're walking a lot during the day. Calves can get very tight, causing pain in the ankles, the knees. So I'm going to get David to demonstrate a standing calf stretch. Again, you might need a wall or something you can just put your hands against. Okay, so what I'm going to get you to do, David, if you put your hands against this post, so feet side by side, I'm going to take a big step back with one leg. I'm going to move on to this one so it's a little bit more clear. So I'm going to take a big step back with one leg, and what I want to do is try and get my back heel into the floor. So my back leg's nice and straight, my front leg's got a bend in the knee, so I'm slightly flexed. I'm going to push into my heel, and I want you to lean over that front toe. Okay, so as soon as you find that stretch in the calf, you'll feel it. You'll probably feel it straight down the back of your calf, alright? So we can either go there, We can turn the toe in as well to get more on the inside of the calf. But I just want you to have a go at that one.
Just in case you didn't see that, James turned his trailing leg slightly inwards.
Toes in.
And wow, what a
Big
difference
difference,
that
yeah.
makes.
So, going to get David to have a go at this one.
Okay.
So hands against the post or the wall, and we're going to take a big step back. As long as your back heel is on the floor, that's all we're looking for. So what I'm going to get David to do is place his hands against the wall. He's taking his back leg, he's taking a big step behind him, keeping the leg fairly straight. He's planting the weight into his heel, and then he's just going to start shifting his hips forward on the other leg. So he's going to start taking that knee forward as long as he feels okay. And we'll find that point of tension, okay? Once we found it, we'll just stay there. Again, if that muscle's shaking uncontrollably on any stretch, you probably took it a little bit too far. Okay, so we just want to find the point of tension. We take some deep breaths in until the muscle starts to relax. We can come out of the stretch and go back into it on a breath out, and you might just find that it's just gave you a little bit more range of motion. How's that feel, David?
Yeah, that was sore, but it is easing up a bit now.
Okay, there we go. So again, at least a minute per side. That's when the muscle starts to lengthen, and then we can change legs. You feel like a new man after this. So just find that point, back heels in the floor. Again, we can turn those toes in as well at the back, just to target a bit more of the medial calf. Cool. There we go. How's that one feel?
Yeah, it does make a difference when you turn the toes in.
Now we can take this stretch a little bit further as well. All we're going to do is squeeze the back of the glute. So the leg that's out behind is going to squeeze the butt cheek, and we can also squeeze the quad as well, and that's just going to give us a little bit more throughout. How's that?
Yeah, feel it.
So always just find your point of tension, work within that range till it's loosened off, and then we can find a little bit more each time. How's that?
I'll tell you tomorrow. But the beauty of this is that they're all things that you can be doing every single day using little more than stuff you've got around the house and the farm. Just to loosen yourself up, keep yourself a little bit more supple, and movement is the way forward.
Movement is medicine.
Movement, apparently, is medicine. Well, that was paracetamol.
Yeah, maybe.
Actually, that's another thing. I used to pop paracetamol and ibuprofen like Smarties. Hardly taken any in the last 6 months since working with James. Now, if you keep doing these exercises, maybe you can free yourself up from those painkillers, eh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we've looked at some of the upper back. Now, the lower back, interesting one. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to stretch out, but what I've found with many of my clients is if we stretch the glutes, sometimes that just releases off the lower back. So for this exercise, it's going to be called an eye of the needle stretch. So you want to lie yourself down on the floor. Okay, so what if you want to do a quick check on it, if you've got lower back pain, what you'll tend to find is if you lie on the floor with your feet on the floor and your knees bent, if you've got a bit of an arch in your lower back here as you lay down, normally that indicates that there's a problem in the lumbar spine, right? So we can correct that with a couple of exercises. So if the first one we're going to look at, in fact, before the figure 4, we're going to have a look at some pelvic tilting. Okay, so if you've got that arch in your lower back, what you do is just lie down on the floor, and if you push your hips forward, you should find that your lower back goes flat into the floor. Okay.
So James is lying on his back. He's drawn his feet up so his knees are sticking up in the air. And what are you doing? Clenching your...
I'm not clenching. No. All I'm doing is pushing my hips forward.
Okay.
And then you'll find the lower back goes into the floor, and that may relieve a lot of tension in the lower back just from doing that. So if you can get into the habit of just working through a few tilts, eventually your back will just come to the realization that it can go flat. Okay. So even from a standing position, you can push your hips forward, and that may relieve a lot of your lower back pain. So from here, what we're going to do is a figure 4 stretch. So I'm going to take one leg, and I'm going to place my ankle on top of my opposite knee. Okay. From here, what I want to do...
Almost like crossing your legs.
Just crossing your legs if you're able to. The opposite leg, what I'm going to start doing is pushing the other leg forward. Okay, you can grab behind the thigh as well. I'm just going to start pulling that towards us. And what you're going to feel is a lot of tension in this glute here. So you can push against the wall as well if you want. But I'm just pushing it forward until I feel it stretching that hip. Okay, and we're going to hold that again for as long as comfortable. What I can also do then, I can take this leg and I can push it straight across. So I've got no gap between my legs here. So this one, you've got your sciatic nerve, which runs through the piriformis muscle inside the glute. So if I push this leg across and then start pulling this knee towards me, what it actually does is open up that sciatic nerve. Okay, where it goes through is with sciatica, the nerve gets trapped between that hole where the sciatic nerve runs through. So this stretch here then starts to open up that bit of a hole there, and that can relieve sciatica symptoms, so pins and needles, numbness, etc. So you just hold that for as long as you feel comfortable, each side, okay?
And I have to say, James, so many farmers I've spoken to say they have sciatic problems,
Yep.
lumbar region problems,
Yep.
and I do, I've got a curved lower back,
Yep.
and whilst you were saying that, I'm stood up here next to the camera, all I did was push my
it
thighs
forwards.
up, and it feels like it's supporting the lower back.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
That's it.
Wonderful,
That's it.
James. So, James, thank you very much for helping our farmers listening to and watching this today.
Right.
You've covered stuff to help with knees, upper back, what was the thing? Lower back, the lumbar region, and sciatic.
Yep.
Guys, the biggest thing I'm sure James would talk about here is consistency.
Yep.
What would you say about that?
Yeah, so definitely be consistent. I mean, if you do some stretches, some movement every day, it's going to benefit your body no end. We tend to find that a lot of people they'll only do stuff when they start to get in pain. So again, like we said earlier, prevention is better than the cure, right? So if you can just dedicate a bit of time every day, 5-10 minutes a day, you're going to have a lot more longevity in your body, especially as you're getting older as well. And again, just try and do something every day to keep yourself move freely.
And what would you say about hydration? Because again, farmers are famed for having a bottle of beer or two of an evening or cider, and during the day having a big flask full of coffee. What about hydration?
Yeah, so really important. We've got to remember our body is probably made of 70-80% water, right? So if you can keep yourself hydrated throughout the day, I say to everyone, try and drink a minimum of 2 litres of water a day, even if that's got squash in it. What we tend to find is if we have a lot of coffee, it actually dehydrates the body. Okay, so just having 2 litres plus a day, you'll find yourself got more energy, you're more productive throughout your days, you'll sleep better, and your body will just work a lot better because you're just hydrated.
And from that massive brain of yours, if there was one piece of advice you'd give to farmers to improve their back, shoulders or knees, what's the one top tip?
One top tip, just look after your bodies, guys. Just move every single day, stretch, and that's going to, again, keep you nice and pain-free. Okay.
It'll keep you nice.
Nice.
So James done it nicely. I'd actually say, in service to you guys, work out the consequences of you not looking after yourself in this way. Mm-hmm. Work out the cost financially to you and your farm of having long-term time off just because you didn't do a few stretches. James, thank you very, very much indeed.
Thank you, David.
If people want to get hold of you, what's your website?
Yeah, so you can go to www.thebodyfixcoach.co.uk, and it's pretty much the same across all social media platforms, The Body Fix Coach.
Thanks, mate. Thank you very much
Cheers,
indeed.
mate. Thank you.
See you soon.